We get a major update on Thatcher Demko's health heading into the next stretch of Eastern Conference games, while also getting multiple updates on Elias Pettersson and Nils Hoglander, which leaves management in a very tough decision. We got a lot to break down in this episode, and you're not going to want to miss it. So let's just hop straight into the first topic today, where we do get a huge update on Thatcher Demko, which should have a lot of fans quite fired up. Looking at this, we do see from Ian on Twitter, Thatcher Demko is in a full Canucks practice since he was hurt 6 weeks ago. Seeing Demko in his first full practice since, like it says here, 6 weeks ago is a massive step for the Canucks that are dealing with quite a few injuries as it is. Now looking at Demko, we know how good Demko has been throughout his career, but injuries has always been an issue with him. Seeing him healthy once again and getting into a starter's crease, or not fully starter's crease, but his own crease at practice in a full practice is awesome. I mean, looking at Demko and his stretch with the Canucks, we know he was a Vezina candidate just last season. We see this year he has struggled a bit in .891 save percentage, but this is a Canucks team that has been playing to their full strength, or what they really should be playing, for a majority of the season. So getting Thatcher back doesn't only help him and the Vancouver Canucks with him as a goaltender, but also does help a lot with Kevin Lankinen, who we did see sadly get lit up versus the New York Rangers. What was it, 5 goals on 14 shots? He was under the weather, but the biggest thing with Kevin Lankinen, he has been a saving grace for this Canucks team, a .901 save percentage, playing the most games he has ever played in his NHL career. We can see 46 games, going 24, 14 and 8. Previous to that, 32 games back in 21-22 with the Chicago Blackhawks was his career high, and above that was 37 games. So 37 games is the most Kevin Lankinen has ever played in this season. He came in with the Vancouver Canucks, took the starting role due to injuries, of course, but Kevin Lankinen is looking like a goaltender the Canucks can fully trust as their starting goalie going into it, and running a tandem between him and Thatcher Demko is going to be severely underrated and a huge part of the success heading into the next stretch of games for the Canucks. Listen, the Canucks are currently sitting 2 spots out of a wildcard spot. We see the St. Louis Blues beat them in overtime, which took their spot. We see the Calgary Flames currently on a 3-game win streak, St. Louis on a 5-game win streak. The Utah Hockey Club are clawing behind them with just 1 last point. The Canucks need to go on a run, and this is the time they really need to do it. They're currently on a 1-game losing streak. We've seen them come off that disappointing loss to the New York Rangers. So the biggest thing with the Canucks is getting back in the win column, and I think it really starts between the goaltenders. Listen, Kevin Lankinen has been outstanding, but you can't force this guy to start every single game and expect him to come out and be a Vezina caliber goalie. This is the first season starting. He has been playing incredible, but having someone to split the starts with a 1A, 1B goaltender is going to be massive for the Canucks. But Canucks fans, what's your thoughts on Demko getting back in his first full practice with the team since 6 weeks ago? Is this what changes the Canucks season around? Do you think this is going to be what tips the iceberg in the Canucks' favor? Let me know down in the comments. But hopping into the second topic, which is not a very good topic, we do see a quote from Rick Tocchet. If you had to ask me, I'd probably be doubtful. This is on Pettersson and Hoglander's playing in New Jersey. We're going to have to wait and call someone up. I think we have one recall left. We're going to have to get a center. Saving right now, I don't know, but it has to be possible that they won't play. Now, this is a big blow to the Canucks, as we've seen the success that Nils Hoglander and Pettersson have found next to each other on the top line. Brock Boeser joined this line, and that line has been absolutely tearing through the NHL. But obviously, we do see from the Vancouver Canucks PR, General Manager Patrik Allvin announced today that Aatu Raty has been recalled from Abbotsford under emergency conditions. So it does seem like at least 1 or 2 of Pettersson and Hoglander will be out of the lineup versus the New Jersey Devils. And listen, this is not what you want to see. When the Canucks are in pretty much a do-or-die games at this point, listen, the New Jersey Devils can't pass them in the Western Conference standings, but they can take a point away from the Vancouver Canucks, which they desperately need to get back into this race. Now, looking at Aatu Raty, I think this is the perfect call-up, and I'm surprised he hasn't been called up a little sooner. Listen, Aatu Raty played 21 games with the Canucks this year, 4 points in those 21 games. But since going to the Abbotsford Canucks, he has been absolutely dominating. 39 points in 41 games, 17 goals, 22 assists. He has been tearing it up in the AHL. We've seen previously the year before 52 points in 72 games. If Aatu Raty played an entire season with Abbotsford and didn't get that 21 game call-up, he would have smashed his record. 4 points in the AHL this year. You bring up a center that's left-handed that can fill out the fourth line. I think this is by far the best call-up the Canucks could have made to join this lineup. Now, looking at the lineup, it does get a little scary. Listen, New Jersey is on a bit of a cold streak right now. They're losing games and losing them bad sometimes, but the Vancouver Canucks have the possibility to go into the next game without Elias Pettersson or Nils Hoglander on this top line. That would leave the Vancouver Canucks with a top six of Boeser, Teddy Blueger, Amon as the third line center, and then Aatu Raty as a fourth line center. This is not ideal when, like I said, they're looking to make the push to make the playoffs. This is not ideally a top six center core. And listen, nothing wrong with Boeser or Teddy Blueger. Suter just scored his 20th of the season for the first time in his NHL career. Huge shout out to him, and like Rick Tocchet said, cha-ching, this guy's going to get paid. But as a top line center, it's going to get quite tricky. And Rick Tocchet has a lot to do with these lines where he has to shake things up. Aatu Raty is going to come in to fill out the fourth line. Listen, I think Jonathan Lekkerimäki needs to be up in this lineup a little farther. I'm not going to go too much in it in this video, but they need to add more offense to this top six. Now, looking at the last 5 games of Elias Pettersson, the Canucks are going to miss him dearly. Looking at Pettersson, listen, he played 7 minutes and 50 seconds during the New York game. We've seen him go out with an injury. He left the ice after a face-off. But looking at the 4 previous games before that, 2 assists, 1 assist, 1 assist, and a goal and an assist. Now, during the stretch, they did go 2, 1, and 1, but the Canucks did come out with points in 3 of the 4 games. Losing that game to the New York Rangers was brutal and a very big game that they had to win. But with Pettersson out, filling out that top 6 is going to be quite rough. Continuing on, we see the injuries the Canucks are already dealing with. One of their centers, Hedl, is out for a period of time. We know he's on concussion protocol. Demko is on the injury reserves, but it does seem like he's coming back. Juleson, and we could see Karlsson jump into this lineup. It's going to get quite interesting seeing Karlsson, and we do see Raty jump into this lineup. It's going to be a lot, Canucks fans. And listen, as I said, this is a big stretch of games. And I know I keep repeating myself, but we have to talk about it. This stretch of games coming up is massive. The Canucks currently have 1 less game played than the St. Louis Blues, so a win next game does put them in a good spot, but St. Louis needs to get off this heater. 7-2-1 in their last 10. The Calgary Flames 5-2-3 on a current 3-win streak as well. It's going to be tough. I believe last looking at Money Puck, they had about a 26% chance to make the playoffs, so it's going to get really tricky heading into the second part. But I mean, Canucks fans, what's your thoughts on Thatcher Demko coming back to this team? Do you think this is what's going to fix it? How long do you think PD and Hoglander is going to be out of this lineup? And do you think the Canucks can get it done? Listen, I'm optimistic. I think the team's going to go on a hot streak, but it has to start very soon as there's not a lot of games left. But that'll be it for this episode. If you want to go down and leave a comment, we love reading through it. While you're down there, leave a like, subscribe, share this with your friends. We'll be back with another episode, maybe tonight, so keep your eye out for that. But I've been your host, Mark Pye, and listen, be optimistic. We're going to make the playoffs, and take care.